hey, I want to start a podcast, but where do I start? I just want to give you a few tips. My wife and I have had a podcast for about 4 years now. As you continue to grow, you can evolve it, you can make it nicer, you can make it better, you're going to get better. So the most important thing is, number one, is just do it. You can watch this video, you can read books, you can watch, fill in the podcast. There's a million of them. But the thing that's going to make you stand out is you. The only thing that's going to make you stand out is your uniqueness, and you're going to learn the most from just doing it. So what does that mean? Well, it could be as simple as when this video is done, you grab your cell phone, you set it up on a tripod, and you just talk, and you just upload it to YouTube, you upload it to Spotify, to iTunes, and just do it and get in the habit of doing it. Because the other thing you're going to find is, do you like it? It's going to be exciting when you start, just like many other things in life. You're going to have that excitement period. So I would do a couple before you invest a couple grand in equipment or spend all this time. Just film a couple podcasts, get used to talking to camera, put it out there, and don't put it out there to see what people will think of it. Put it out there every single week and see how you feel about it, how you feel putting it up there. Are you excited the night before when you want to wake up the next day and film? That's something. So number one is just do it. And that'll be the most important thing. But if you want to get technical, let's get into the equipment. As you can see here, at least on this angle, we have the Yeti microphones. We've got like $80 lights. We use Sony camcorders for our podcast, and I'll link all this in the description for you so you can find it. But altogether, I would say like our lights, camera, and microphones is maybe $2,000. If you want to be able to invest that, do that. There's also better equipment than $2,000. I mean, you can spend probably 10 grand if you have that kind of money that you want to start out. So just spend on the equipment what you think is necessary, but what you say and how you make people feel when listening to it is what's most important. And then gradually work your way up. Me and my wife have been able to make a great business out of this, and we've had this same equipment for almost the entire time, and it's like the middle ground equipment, and it does just fine. Number 3 is going to be the distribution of it. This one is a personal opinion, but I stand behind it because this is how we've grown our podcast. I would, unless you want to keep it cheap and you don't want to be in front of camera, then just talk into your cell phone and upload the audio. It'll be amazing. Cut some of the audio and upload it to your story with the little audio waves on it so you can promote it on Instagram and Facebook. But if possible, if you feel comfortable on camera, or even if you don't, but you want to get good at being comfortable at camera, put it on camera so you can upload your audio to all the audio platforms. You need to put it on YouTube, Facebook, like start a Facebook business page or a fan page and put it there rather than your personal page. You're more than welcome to put it on your Facebook personal page, but we do it on our business page. It also will allow you to boost it if you want to run advertising and things like that. So those are things to look into. But as Gary Vaynerchuk said years ago that I really took to heart, and that's what we did here, is if you're thinking, well, why don't I make it exclusive on YouTube and then promote it everywhere to force everyone to YouTube? You can do that. But there are people, and I've seen this firsthand, they want to watch our podcast on Facebook. If we took it away from Facebook and tried to get people to YouTube only, we would lose probably 5,000 listeners. Why do that? Why not just give it to people where they like listening? That we have people who listen to audio only, we have people who listen to it on and watch it on YouTube only, and people who are on Facebook only. Why not? Put it everywhere. That is the name of the game these days. Put it everywhere. Also, I would recommend if you have the time or the finances to hire somebody, cut clips and put them on Reels, put them in your stories, put them on Facebook, put them on TikTok. We film an hour-long podcast. We cut it into clips. We put it on our Instagram stories, our Instagram Reels, our TikTok, Facebook, the full length on Facebook, clips on Facebook. My opinion is distribute your podcast to as many platforms as humanly possible. Number 4, I credit my wife for this. I was a knucklehead the first 2 years. We didn't have a schedule. I just said, let's just film it when we film it and post it when we post it. Not a good idea. You need a schedule. People need to get used to it. Pick a date. Feel free to move it as you start learning, but pick a schedule, stick to the schedule. Now, here's an interesting one. Do you pick a topic or a niche? A lot of the social media experts are going to tell you on every platform to pick a niche. I agree. The reason I'm hesitant is because my wife and I did not pick a niche. Our niche is basically us, and we make it about lifestyle. We talk about business, personal growth, pop culture. The list goes on, what's going on in our lives. However, if you are a cook, and it's going to be a cooking podcast or a true crime podcast or a fitness podcast or a how to build a business podcast or expert guest podcast, that is also incredibly powerful. If you have a niche, then do that, but don't be afraid to evolve. The only thing that makes your podcast successful is if you are enjoying it. If you enjoy making it, then the people will come who enjoy it as well. Don't get caught talking about something or a topic because you think you can go viral or you think you can make money quicker with it. Pick a topic that you truly enjoy and think long term. Now, when it comes to money, there's a bunch of ways you can monetize your podcast, but it took us until about 50 episodes before we started monetizing it with sponsors. But you will make money eventually, and here's some of the ways that you can look forward to making money. The easiest way, dare I say easy, but if you put it on YouTube and you have 4,000 watch hours and you have 1,000 subscribers, you can start getting paid from Google AdSense. Those are the ads that play before the YouTube video. You can make some money there. Same thing on the Facebook business page. You can monetize those videos. It's much harder to qualify on Facebook. Took us a very long time to do it, but now we are. So now we're just putting the same video up in both places and they're both being monetized. You can also do affiliate marketing right away. If it's organic and there's something you love and there's a product that's on Amazon and you can use the affiliate program, or if there's a company that has an affiliate link and you're always drinking this certain drink, and if someone clicks the link in your description or you talk about it for 2 seconds at the beginning and they click it and you make $7 because you referred it, if you have 1,000 listeners who do that, hey, there you go. There's $7,000 over a period of time. So look into affiliate marketing, but don't also sell out and try to make cash too quickly. You know what I mean? Like, it's really about providing value first, letting people get to know you first so that they know when you do have a product that it fits. That's just my personal opinion there. The other way to do it long term, and this is where it becomes incredibly lucrative, is to get sponsorships. And what I'd recommend for sponsorships is looking at other podcasts and contacting the companies that are already sponsoring podcasts. That's where me and my wife started, where we started just hitting up companies saying, hey, we have a podcast. Here's our media kit. Here's our rate kit. Like, we'd love the opportunity for you to sponsor our podcast. And we would just write a bunch of emails until we figured it out. And that's where you read a 60-second pre-roll ad, or you have a little commercial, 20 minutes in, mid-roll, where you read a 60-second ad, and you can get paid a substantial amount of money for that. The other two ways, and there's many ways, but I'm going to share right now, is you can start a merch line with Teespring or many other print-on-demand companies. This is a whole other video, but I wouldn't recommend buying t-shirts, stocking them in your spare bedroom, and shipping them out. Please don't do that unless you want to go down that road. Be my guest. I've done that before. Print on demand is amazing. Make the shirt, ship the thing to yourself, make sure the design looks great, put it on, and the company will handle everything for you, and then you just make the profit. So you can do merch, which will be great. And then eventually, when you have a big enough podcast, you can do a membership where people can pay $5, $10, $20 a month to get an additional podcast or additional footage each and every week. So there's many options for monetization, but please try to hold out as long as possible, because you don't want to be selling before you can build a lot of value with your audience. Again, just my opinion. Do what you feel is best with that. Lastly, and I hope you can please take this to heart, don't quit your day job. Now, there's a couple things here that I want to share. When I say don't quit your day job, I truly mean continue to work where you're working for as long as humanly possible. Even when you start making $700 a month consistently with your podcast, it is not a good business move to then go get a nicer car and blow that $700, or start cutting back your hours at work and just using the $700 here and taking off an extra 2 days a week over here. The point of making money early in a business is to reinvest it into your business. So if you have the ability and you have a paying job that is giving you a paycheck every single Friday, use that money at your job to fund your dream, and keep putting all this money back into advertising, into guests, into influencer marketing, whatever you have to do, better equipment, to continue to grow your podcast until you're making enough monthly that you go, it is pointless for me to go into work. I can literally take half of my income from my podcast and continue to grow it. I can take half of the money from my podcast and live off of it. That would be a good, and that advice is for anything. If you're in real estate, no matter what kind of business you're in, don't live off the profits until you have so much that it becomes easy to live off of. I made that mistake many times in my career of I've been nearly a decade. I've been an entrepreneur doing many different successes and failures. And one of the biggest reasons that some failed is as soon as I started making money, I started spending it on my lifestyle. Not a good idea. Put it back in the business or save it, because you don't also want to be stressed. Last thing, I don't want to harp on it, but even if you do quit and you match your income, $2,500 a month, and you need $2,500 a month from your podcast, or or you can't pay your rent. Now your podcast has become a trap. You're like, oh, now it has to be good. And I really hope I don't say something that my sponsor might dip on, or how come this is, it becomes stressful. Why make it stressful? Go to work, make your money, grow your podcast so that it's not stressful. We're not stressed about our podcast. We just want our audience to have a good time and keep coming back. That's all we think about. And the money has followed. Easy for me to say 4 years later, but maybe you can think about your future self thanking you. So take all this into consideration. Again, to wrap it up, just start. Don't overthink it. What's my YouTube banner? What do I call it? Just do it. Just film it. Get comfortable being a podcaster. Work on your skill, because you can have the best equipment. You can do everything I just said and do it perfectly. Hire a team. But if you're on here not connecting with your audience, you have no show. So at the end of the day, you have to enjoy doing it, and your audience has to enjoy it, or there is no show. All this other stuff is just bells and whistles that improve when those two things are already firing. You're enjoying it. Your audience is enjoying it. Now it's time for the merch and the extra podcast and quitting your job and all of that fun stuff. New equipment, a studio, traveling, guests. That all comes later. So I hope this helps get you on the right track. And let me know how it goes. Give me a comment. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them as well. So appreciate you stopping by the video, and I'll see you on the next one.